It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning.
Oh God. Oh, if they only knew.
Hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like us that much, you would have already subscribed. But if you haven't, we'll still like you anyway. And while you're there, go ahead and take a look at some of our previous episodes and many interviews that we've had with so many of your favorite Days of Our Lives stars. So check it out, Dishin Days on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you need to take us on a long car ride or a quick run, or you just want to sit on your back porch and listen to all the stunt shows and shenanigans that happened in Salem this week, look us up on your favorite podcast station. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just search Dishin Days and follow us, so that way you'll never miss when we've posted a new episode. And speaking of people who post episodes, make sure you show some love to my former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., who is serving up a few dishes of his own. That's right. He has a recap for Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital, and Young and the Restless, along with some original audio dramas over at his digital media network company, JLJ Media, that you can find on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found. Because James Lott Jr. is the only person that I know that was friends with Andrew Lloyd Webber when he wrote Cats. He's so angelical in that way, but he's never a memory. All right. And of course, throughout the show, we would love to hear from you. Make sure you tell us your thoughts while you're chatting live with us, or if you're watching us later, comment below, so that way we know your thoughts on this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives. And you're right, Justin. If only they What did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
Not as explosive as last week.
Yeah. Good. Also, some really shocking surprises, which we're definitely going to get into. But one where it's like, oh, that's how we're ending the storyline. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was kind of like meh about the whole week.
Yeah. Hello, Mom. My mom has made her way once again into the chat. Say hello to Mama
Moore.
Yes, I thought this week was meh, followed by a, oh, that's what we gonna do?
Right.
Okay.
In our chat room, Jonathan Busby says, I have a question, but let us know what that question is. Feel free to always ask questions throughout the show. All right, you guys. Okay, I just feel like I need to tell on myself, because what people don't know is that 2 seconds before this flipped on, I had just landed back in my seat. Why? Because I clicked, for us to go live. And then I realized I don't have chapstick, because I always keep water, chapstick.
Yeah.
Bye. And I was like, okay, we're still in the opening. I should be fine. So I make a mad dash to my room. I come back, and it's literally like, Dishin Days starts now. And I literally went, hello, everyone. Welcome to... If it had been 2 seconds later, you would have opened up to this.
Yep.
Hello.
I was like, okay, we're just going to start the show, Tony. We'll be back in a second.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, well, what I didn't forget is our wonderful hourglass. And it is now time to start
Dishin
Dishin Days.
That was close. although I didn't say anything. All right, let's kick things off with our very first storyline, which is heard about Barbarette? Dead.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have many
Yes.
thoughts about this.
Why?
Yeah.
we were just revving up to something. I felt like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound cynical, but I feel like this was kind of a cop out and an after effect of basically Barbarette's whole storyline has been during the strike scripts. He was introduced in the he was introduced earlier, so he would have been introduced. So he was introduced on the show by our current writing regime, and then we went into the strike, and so that whole storyline played out during those strike scripts, and then a month in, he's just gone.
Here's my thing is that the Barbarette storyline was very interesting because it was also a window to Jada and her past. So
Yeah.
we also got a chance to get insight to a little bit of history of Jada before she arrived in Salem, mixed in with Stephanie, right?
Yep. Mhm.
I felt like there was such a great lead up to just Jada even seeing at the time Everett
Yeah,
and
right,
realizing
right.
it was
Yeah.
Bobby, right? We were waiting for that bomb to drop.
Yep.
Boom, it dropped. And then we were like, all right, here we go. And then it just never quite picked up how we wanted it to pick up. And then now all of a sudden, crazy met crazy. And now he's just dead.
Yeah, like you said, Tony, it had a slow start and then it sort of fizzled with the strike. It felt like got in the way, and then it felt like they were just getting it back on track and really like revving it up. And we were getting a lot of what we liked. I think a lot of people like Everett, but I think a lot of people were intrigued by Bobby.
Yes.
Intrigued by the Bobby Jada dynamic, which we were getting into. And I even liked, I think a lot of people did. I liked the Bobby sort of Connie kind of dynamic and the weirdness in that. And I felt like that literally was just getting started. And then it was like, wait, you're killing him? And I thought it was one of those like going to be a fake out thing. And then it was like, oh no, he's actually dead.
They
like,
zipped that thing
what?
up in a body bag, honey, while he was laying in bed.
Yeah. So now we're supposed to be focused on the mystery of surrounding his death rather than the mystery of his past and who he was and how he got DID in the first place. That's just left on the table.
Yeah. And not for nothing, you sort of brought back Blake Barris, who's so talented and so great, and you brought him back for the storyline, and then it just kind of fizzled. I don't know. I kind of feel like he deserved better, or like a better way to go out. I mean, like, I don't. It seemed weird because, like you said, it wasn't a strike storyline, which we could kind of understand if they brought him back for the strike or they were looking to like do something, and then it was like, okay, the regular regime is back. We want to do some course correction here, and we want to get rid of stuff, but he wasn't though. So I don't know. It seemed like an abrupt kind of final ending, and
especially because the last couple of scripts that he had, where those to me I felt were the strongest.
Yeah,
because it was really digging deep into the meat of the Bobby and Jada relationship. And we could have had more time to explore that. We really could have dug deep into, well, how much did Jada know about his past? Who did she, all these questions of like, did she interact with his family? Did she, what was their life like in Seattle? All of these we've been asking these questions for months. We've been begging for the answers. It's not like you gave us you gave us enough meat to deal with. This is literally so many questions left on the table.
And yeah, and it's also like, okay, because what they kept saying was he went to mail something and then he ended up in a coma.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's like, is that when the DID developed? Like, there's so many questions that are now left unanswered, which to me I feel like it's weird. Like, we've had moments where the show has kind of started to go somewhere and then they went, nope.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it was so, for lack of a better word, insignificant and
Mhm.
so slight that it was just kind of like, all right, we thought they were going to that, but this was a whole Blake Bears has
Yes, I know.
returned.
Yeah.
That you guys are getting like he's been on like it's been on track, and then all of a sudden you're just like, that's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that it was working. And
I
I think
know.
that's the core issue, is that going down the path that you were going on was actually working. We were finally getting answers. We were finally getting into the meat of things. In the case where we find a course correction like that, with like the one you're talking about, Tony, it's usually because the storyline is clearly not working, or they tried to make some kind of chemistry work and it doesn't. And they get to see that on the screen and they're like, okay, no, now we need to pivot. But that's not what was happening.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. I just will never understand, because now with his death, we have a suicide note written by Connie.
Yes.
We
Lord have
also
mercy.
have gloves planted with Rafe's blood on it by Connie. And again, she's roaming around, no mask, no disguise, no nothing. And she's doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, there's no way that y'all can believe that Bobby would just take his own life like that. And I also, when his head started hurting and he was like, it's spinning, da da da, I wish that then Jada was like, well, let's get you to the hospital or whatever. But instead
Mhm.
he just ran off. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, and then it took them, they had a whole conversation
I
in the
know. They
hotel
over
room
the body. I know.
before anyone was called.
I know. I know.
I also, side note, I want to shout out to the sound effects person
Mhm.
who had the sirens blaring in the background
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
as they were
That was
approaching,
good.
and also for the Jude sound effects when he was talking to Roman. So shout out to the sound
Oh,
effects
yeah.
person for like keeping it real on Days
Yeah,
of Our
that was
Lives.
good.
But yeah, I was like, why is it taking y'all so long to like?
Yeah. I completely didn't like think that he was like, I thought when he was like having issues with the head, I was like, oh, is Everett trying to come out? I didn't make that connection until they obviously sort of showed it. And I was like, oh, okay. Even when Connie put the pills there, I didn't make the connection of, oh, she poisoned him and that's how it's gonna track back. I wasn't even thinking that. I really thought like, oh, Everett's coming out at this moment, like for real this time, and maybe they won't believe him. Like that's where I thought the storyline was going, but not that he was gonna go back to his hotel room and proceed to die. Like
And it's like, first of all, you were alive for a long time. Like, at no point did you think like, oh my God, I should go get this checked out.
yeah.
And you drove all the way back to the Salem Inn. Like, you didn't think about, I'm sure you passed by University Hospital.
Right. You know?
Well, here's the other part of this, is that,
Yes,
and
Connie poisoned his latte.
Yeah.
yes, she poisoned his latte, and that's the part of this that I think people are of two minds of. On the one hand, I got people in my mention saying, you know, why are we giving this? Why is this becoming such a big deal? How are we to believe that Connie is this really big bad villain that up until this point no one saw coming? And on the other hand, you could make the argument that, well, that's precisely why nobody sees her coming, because she is playing the character that nobody sees, that everyone ignores. She's playing that person who, by their own lack of significance in other people's lives, it goes crazy.
Yeah. I mean, give it to Connie. She's incredibly effective when she says, I'm going after somebody. There's no 3 weeks of talking about it to herself in the square. There's no fumbles around a corner and someone's coming.
It's just action.
I'm going to put a knife in Rafe's back tomorrow morning. And then you're getting too out of hand and becoming a liability. So I need to kill you and frame you for the murder I committed. And
it's almost like she's been reading the Salem Spectator since she was born, and watched a couple of Lifetime movies and was like, got it.
This is how actually to do it, not the Salem way,
not the Salem way,
way.
But this is the way. A side note, a quick question for you and Justin and Araceli from NDD. Justin and Araceli, if Days contacted you guys to play a role on Days, would you guys do it like Tony did?
Oh, sure.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
No. There's nothing to do with my love for the show. I'm not an actor. I can't. It's too much energy for me.
Yeah, sign me up. I even have the character, so sign me up.
Yes. I will be by craft services cheering Justin on.
By craft services.
But I mean, what if they were just like, hey, we want you to play a reporter and you just say this line?
I mean, yeah, I guess if it was something very small like that where I could just be as real as possible, but like, yeah, that something like that, I guess I could do, but asking me to actually go on and like do real acting, I can't. I'm not.
Well, Megan said, neither does have the guest of body and soul.
I'm almost kind of flabbergasted that if someone was just like, hey, and you'd be like, no, I'm good.
That's your personality, Tony. As you know, you can be in the moment, and I no, it's because I have such respect for acting as a craft that I learned a long time ago that I can't do it.
Even if you're essentially playing yourself.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like leftover stuff for me that it's like I don't know. It's just it's not something that I'm comfortable with. It's just I'm not comfortable in my own body that way. I am such a good behind the scenes. I'm a behind the camera person. I'm such a good, like, I am here, there, and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Put me to work behind the scenes. I can do like 10 different things at once.
Still stunned over there.
You know, there are just always times that Araceli answers a question, and I just think to myself, interesting.
See, yes, Tyler. That's just my personality. I was explaining to Tony and Justin earlier that was me yesterday. I'm just like everywhere.
Okay, well,
you want an answer? Hey, you asked the question, Tony.
I didn't ask it.
Well, okay, you
NDD asked it. And I thought, you know what, this is interesting because I know I've been very vocal about being on the show and got on, but like I didn't in the moment recall anyone else saying like, oh, I would totally do the show. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting to ask. And then little did I know that I would get an answer that has me scratching my own head. Like, what? What's happening? I mean, you could play the drunk in Horton Town Square.
You know that my drunk is not like other people's drunk.
Which is what makes it a character. You could play.
I'm not the silly drunk.
You could play
silly
the nanny
to watch.
to like Thomas and Charlotte to be like, Yeah,
you-
I watched your kids. Thank you. Bye.
That would be a scene where somebody would call social services on me. Oh my gosh.
You could play the social services lady.
uh,
Oh, thank you, Shonda. Shonda said you looked and did great on Beyond Salem, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
He
you so
did.
much.
He
Thank you.
did. I'm gonna leave it to the professionals.
And I wasn't even acting. That was just me. I was essentially playing myself.
Mm.
Well, until I added the toodles. I don't know who that was. It's Terrence. That's who it was. Well, as I get over my Tyler, you are right. Araceli is one of a kind. We don't know which
Aw.
kind she is, but she is definitely one of a kind. Well, back to the storyline. Lady Whisperer started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. and
Whistleblower.
what did I say?
Whisperer.
I know.
Ain't nothing whispering about Leo Stark.
I just, you know what? I want, if anyone from Days is watching, I would like you all to do a social media thing where you give a scenario and just allow Greg Ricker to react to it in the same way that he did
Yeah.
at the wedding.
The wedding, yeah.
Like, oh, can you imagine if they gave like past storylines, but as headlines in the
Oh,
Salem
that'd be
Spectator?
funny. Yeah.
And he would just be like, I would love that.
Cute scene.
But anyway, I love that Stephanie though was just kind of like, what makes you say that?
Yeah, you getting too close here.
But he figured it out.
Mhm.
Good for him. I'm glad.
Also shows how, like, I mean, I feel like maybe, I guess they saw this coming, but usually on a plot like this, the person is like good at deceiving people, so it goes on for longer. And I think they very readily established that Bobby is not good at sort of playing Everett. He lets too much Bobby come out in the interactions with Jada, the interactions with Stephanie. They figured it out in what they had one interaction with him each, and they were like, something's off with him. Maybe he's Bobby. And now we have the same thing with Leo. Like, he's smart in that sense when it comes to people like that, but also Bobby has not been very good at hiding himself as Everett.
That's true.
Playing Everett.
Yeah,
They saw-
but I
they saw
like
right
that
through
Leo's compassion has grown because he does it wasn't out of some gossipy reporter interest, at least not 100%. He was genuinely offended for Stephanie.
Mhm.
Like, he didn't go, like, if he was just purely doing this for a story, interested in this theory for a story, he would have just bypassed it and run it in his next column or put out a tweet or something. He went to his room and genuinely wanted to have a conversation with him, like, hey, what are you doing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if my timing is correct,
Maybe
Leo could be the linchpin
The who?
in Jada being able to crack the case, because at the time that Leo was standing outside of the hotel room door where Connie was in there, and he clearly heard someone in there, Barbarette was with Jada.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So if those two connect and then they put two and two together, then they can realize that someone other than him was in his room at the time.
Mhm.
So Leo may end up being just the linchpin to this whole thing, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're already suspecting foul play with them realizing Everett, or not, but Bobby was essentially typing 911 or trying to dial 911 and didn't send, and everything just seems a little bit too convenient. Yeah,
Yep.
I think they're picking up on that.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for that storyline, right?
Mhm. And Jada is now commissioner.
Oh yes, Commissioner Jada Hunter, honey.
Yeah.
Get it right. She's like, oh no, I don't know why everyone always wants to turn down the commissioner job
Right. I know.
because of who they're with.
I know, right?
Hope did the same thing because of Rafe. It's
Yeah.
like, y'all stop worrying about Rafe. He needs
Yeah.
to stay out the hospital. For now, you're the interim commissioner.
Mhm.
Go.
Yes.
And it makes sense.
And
Yeah.
if you were to ask Rafe himself, he would be in 100%
Oh,
agreement
totally.
with the
Yeah.
decision.
Right.
Absolutely.
Lord. All right, moving on to our next storyline. It's so hard to say goodbye to Eric, Nicole, and Jude. I want to ask, how did you guys feel about Eric and Nicole when they made love? When we saw the flashbacks? How did we feel about the newly revived coupling?
I didn't care about the making love. I was like, okay, like people are waiting on you. Like
At this point, you either love Eric and Nicole as a couple or you hate them. There is no in between. And we on the show have established that we do not care for them as a couple because they have never really done the work to work through their issues. It's always been longing looks and pining without ever actually having the tough conversations about who they are as people and how they intend to work as a couple. And by the way, I feel like my point was made for me in that beautiful sweeping montage of their love story by the fact that every single clip that was used is over 5 years old.
And it was always, most of it was them in conflict.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was like, I was like, oh yeah, they've have, in the grand scheme of things, they have not spent a lot of time together. Even, yes, they were married and they've been divorced, but the overall 25 years, they've spent what, 3 maybe years together total?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I also liked, I wish they had done what they did for the Ari's 25th, where they sort of broke their rule and they did the clips with Jensen back then to really show her that young, which I understand why they don't do it, but I appreciate it when they did it that time. I also felt like that's what was lacking this time, where I can suspend disbelief and realize that of course it's a different actor in the role, but also like show us the whole 25 years, especially with, like you said, what they showed us was it was stuff from over 5 years ago. Most of it was stuff of them in conflict. I'm like, what are these clips?
And I know that this was us sending Eric and Nicole off. And so of course the clips had to focus on them as a couple, but I wish they would have found a way. Maybe they could have fit it in with like Nicole's goodbye to Abe, or find some way to incorporate, like you said, those older clips of Nicole separate from Eric, because we knew that this was going to be her last episode. Mm-hmm. And it mattered to really go through her history like they did with those clips for her anniversary episode. Mm-hmm. Because she had the character of Nicole. I will miss the character of Nicole more than I ever will miss Eric and Nicole as a couple, because of just the span of her arc, you know, where she started, where she is, even what she's just been through in the last year. Like, show me that, emphasize that, because Ari is a powerhouse and we know that. And just the breadth of the work that has been left on the floor.
I think once upon a time, I was very much team Eric and Nicole. Mm-hmm. And as I've stated before many a times, I just feel like there are sometimes some relationships that just go beyond their expiration date.
Yep.
And I think, unfortunately, this was one of them. Like, I never once felt like, oh, no, it's Eric and Nicole. Oh my gosh. I was more like, I like EJ and Nicole.
Yeah.
I thought it was a better. I thought that was a better fit than her and Rafe.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like her
Mhm.
and Rafe, I could never get on board with, but her and EJ just kind of having this very parallel kind of history,
Yeah.
um, and understanding each other. And again, I compare it to like Sammy and Lucas,
Yep.
where
Mhm.
you know they just know each other. I was that. Now this is no shade to Eric and Nicole fans. If I'm glad that you guys got the happy ending that you wanted and everything like that, but I think someone who, which I realize I'm never tied down to a couple.
Hmm.
Like there are some couples where you're like,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, they belong
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't belong with anyone else other
Yeah.
than this person. But those I've accepted. But even if they split them apart for a second, I think for a moment I can be like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Something new.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Also think it's how you show us too. Like they, as we've talked about before, she has had Nicole and EJ have had the more extensive relationship than Nicole and Eric ever had, and
Mhm.
I know we like that seems to get brushed aside under the
Lost
auspice of like true love or first love, and it's like you got
lost
to
two
do
kids
more.
together.
Yeah, you got to do more than just tell us these people should be together. Like
Mhm.
you need to show us. And in fact, over the last 25 years, we have more evidence of why she should be with EJ than why she should be with Eric. And it hasn't matched up yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should say not should be with, because if we make this a contest of she should be with
Yeah.
EJ,
Yeah.
she should be with Eric. We want to make clear in the show that, like Tony said, we're not necessarily married to any
Mhm.
couple.
Yeah.
It's the evidence that we've seen of just what works in a relationship and how they support each other and how they get through it. None of us can say that EJ and Nicole ended on a good place
Yeah.
in their last relationship. In fact, it was disastrous. So we can't say that, oh, because it was good then it should be good now. No,
Yeah.
it was disastrous, and they lost two children in their time together. It was a mess. But in the time that they were apart, they went through a lot individually, and by the time they came back together, there was something about it that just seemed to work better
Hmm.
in the way that they understood each other, in the way that they didn't make excuses for each other. They called each other out on things. But if and so for us here at Dishin Days, it kind of just felt like we were being pushed to the Eric and Nicole, because you wanted to push the big, romance, first love kind of a thing, ignoring that when people are apart, they grow in different ways.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, sad to see them go. Like I said, the sort of backstage stuff of what's going on, and
Mhm.
unfortunate nonetheless. But characters that we'll miss in their own way, even if we're not such a fan of them being together. We much rather would have had them stay on canvas as characters.
Yes. And yeah, I
I
just feel
Would you
I
guys
just
think
feel
of the
bad.
goodbyes?
The goodbye party.
Yeah, like the interactions they had with
More
everyone.
time with Abe.
I know that was nice. I'm glad they remembered to include that. Sometimes they don't always when it comes to Nicole, but I'm glad lately they've established he is essentially her father figure.
There was almost a moment where I was like, what if they like this was almost like a surprise to them too. Like they came down and like the cast was there and they were like, "Oh hi,
Oh,
hey."
yeah.
It,
Uh-huh.
it it felt like during that it always feels like a mix of emotions. The
Mhm.
characters crying for the characters, but I think the real life actors crying for the
Yeah,
real life actors.
exactly.
Um, and it was cute. Like they were outside of the Brady pub, and they kind of grabbed Jude, and they was just like, "Here we go," and they just left. I mean,
I did laugh. There was a part of me when they were standing there, and then like Nicole left first, and and Greg Vaughn as Eric sort of looked back, and it was kind of like, okay, I gotta go too, I guess. And then like he left, I was like, okay.
It's
I
like,
felt
well,
yeah, he was like giving us a signal, like I guess I gotta go with her. Sorry, guys.
it's like she's leaving, so
I know.
I guess I gotta go too.
Oh man.
And it's almost kind of like when you think about it, like if Nicole, I don't know. I guess she could have just left. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of painted themselves in a corner. Once you make the baby Eric's,
Yes.
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, she's gonna run off and not tell him about the baby or leave the baby. Like, you know, he's not gonna run after them, of course. Like you paint yourself in a weird corner here. Yeah.
Like I wonder if they just had kept it with EJ, but did something to where like she was just like, I can't live like this. I accept you for you, but you can't keep being devious. I'm out. And maybe they just let her go somewhere to like blow off steam. And if they had to recast Nicole, which I mean, then
it happens,
come
yeah.
back as another Nicole,
right? Yeah. I mean, we who knows? We have some new writers coming onto the scene and what they bring to the show. So maybe we will have a Nicole and Eric back in 8 months, or you know, who knows?
I don't know, but like lots of praises and just so many kudos. And I mean, I don't think you can say words can't describe being with a show for that long.
Yeah.
And having originated a character and
It's
been
half
with
her
that
life.
character, for quite a long time. And I mean, for all that has transpired, and this is kind of how it pauses. I'll say pause for a second.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And Ari has done some,
yeah.
When she found out that her baby died, or just, she's just such an amazing actress that I really hope, aside from whatever behind the scenes drama is happening, that she does get submitted for an Emmy and that she wins an Emmy, because her work is amazing.
Absolutely.
Aside from everything.
Yeah.
Let that lady be recognized for the work that she's done.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's it for that, right?
We had. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And now, Teresa's fate. Andrew to the rescue with a plea deal.
Yeah.
I loved that interaction with them.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so sweet. Because they grew up, those characters are the children of legacy characters, but they grew up off canvas. You know, we don't get that interaction with them too often, and to see that they have that bond of like, you know, it's like, oh, this is my crazy sister, but I'm gonna love her no matter what, kind of a thing. That's, you know, that's very Sammy and Eric back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this part of the development. I hope it goes through. I actually don't want to see Theresa go to prison. I understand she probably needs to leave the canvas for a while with everything she's done. Yes. But I'm okay with her not going to prison for this stuff.
Well, and it's also like, what are we going to pin her for? Because the forgery and everything happened in Greece.
I like that part of it when he was naming. I was like, oh yeah, that's actually bringing some.
The worst she could possibly, I mean, like the worst she could possibly get charged with, at least in the United States,
is the kidnapping.
Yeah, is the kidnapping.
Yeah.
So time for that. I still want to manifest my original theory into existence, though.
Which is?
What's up?
I would really like to manifest the theory that she comes back pregnant.
Oh, from the
Teresa.
With
from
Brady's
sleeping
kid?
with. Okay.
Mm.
With Brady. Yeah.
Because I feel like her time is not done. It's just paused. I feel like.
Totally.
I really think that she there's still so much left to work through with Brady. There's still so much left to work with Tate. Tate's not grown yet. He's not an adult yet. He's a young adult. He's a young adult, but you saw on that phone call, it still seems like he still needs his mom. Again, it's like
it's very need your mom.
Yeah, he still needs his mom. And again, I equate it to like Will and Sammy, no matter how many crazy stunts Sammy pulled, he still needed his mom in his corner, no matter how much you push back on it. Sammy was always going to be in his corner. And I think that, Tate needs Theresa in the same way, and she needs him.
Oh, those are one.
Yeah.
What?
Brady needs time.
Araceli just jinxed Tate will be 40 tomorrow.
No.
I do like her taking responsibility in that sort of aspect of it. I like the phone call with Shane. It was cute. The stuff with Andrew was really nice. I did like the phone call with Tate. Just as he was about to confess his own misdeeds, it was like, boy, shut up. Like, this is not your moment.
That's not the time.
Yeah. Let that go. Yeah. Do not feel guilt over that. Let it go.
My mom says you never get too old to need your mom. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I want to see with Theresa. I'm just surprised she didn't run off.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised she's taking accountability, and we'll just
she's growing.
Yeah.
She's not Kristen.
I do agree with this. Colton does need to be a regular on days instead of these little pop-ins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know with the behind the scenes stuff. I would very much like to see him 100% time, but I also want to see him 100% of the time with Paul. So, but unless something drastic changes behind the scene, I don't know if I can get my wish on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the date. Okay.
For some reason, I thought they left Salem.
I know it's
implied that they did by the end of the week.
Yeah.
But even from last week, you meant from the wedding, like thought it was like a go, see you later, pop in for the wedding and pop out. But
I mean they were supposed to.
Yeah. But no, I did like that they incorporate Andrew there, and then Paul's still on the canvas, so they incorporate him with Marlena and what's going on with Brady, we see.
Yeah. I feel for Paul. I feel like he's in a tough spot.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to betray his brother's confidence, but at the same time, he's like, well, even if he is drinking, what can I possibly do about it? He's gonna keep trying.
There's a difference between someone's well-being and like the other thing, not saying, I guess, for lack of a better thought.
Oh,
like I feel like if he doesn't say, is he really looking out for his well-being? If he's trying to like keep his brother's trust, like
yeah, I know. I think more in the moment. I think he doesn't know whether to believe Brady or not.
Yeah,
I don't think he does. But I think he's just saying, well, Brady said he's fine, so he must be fine. But we all saw the limp in his walk and the leaves in his hair and the backwards sweater that was put on.
Yes.
Like
Comical.
Like, come on. Like, and
I mean, to be
also,
sober.
also, when were you able to escape the Salem Inn from the bathroom?
I know. It's like,
Everybody has been trapped
right,
in that
I
bathroom.
know, right?
Now this particular room has a
Has a
window
window,
in there
yeah.
to where you can just hop out.
Fiona got the deluxe suite with the window in the bathroom.
Fiona
Apparently,
got that same room
The
that
same-
Leo stayed in, that everybody has stayed in, and that is the same room.
It's even Everett's room. Apparently,
Same room. Bobby's room. Same
oh,
room.
that cracked me up when they were like, "Go out the window." I was like, "Window?
I was
Was
like,
there
when's
a
there ever been a
Yeah.
window? And the whole time when he went into the bathroom, I was like, they're having this whole conversation and Brady's just in the bathroom.
I
And
thought
then
so.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden he comes around the corner and I'm like, how'd you get out?
Yeah.
Where'd you come from? What bushes did you land in?
Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
Oops.
And they still haven't done it.
Yeah.
How y'all keep getting drunk and not doing it?
Yeah. And also, you still don't remember, like,
Y'all must be making some strong drinks in that room.
Mhm.
Like very strong drinks in the room.
Yes, committed.
But Fiona remembers, Brady doesn't.
mhm.
And now, oh wait, let me make sure.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's just
now I feel like you guys were right in that Fiona's lying about her mental breakdown and stuff. Because as soon as she was talking about, I'm very serious about my sobriety.
yeah.
Ma'am, you were just drunk 5 hours ago,
hmm Right.
laying naked with Brady.
And also, what's your motive? Because I'm not getting like motherly love from her. I'm wondering, is it money? Like we've seen, she's been in town now for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much Sarah going to her. It's Xander going to her. It's not her knocking on the door the next day being like, I want to meet my grandchild, my granddaughter. I want to spend time with her. I want to get to know you, son. Sarah, can you make that happen? Like there seems to be no agency on her part to like sort of fix things with Xander. I mean, the best thing she did for him was expose Theresa at the wedding. Other than that, we haven't seen her sort of
She got cooped up in that room.
Yeah.
Honey. Just living life with Mr. Brady.
Yeah. Is this going to be like a money grab thing now?
Ugh, I hope
Well,
not.
she could just get money from Brady.
Well,
Not Brady.
who?
Her son, Xander.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is it a money grab? Like she's pretending to like want to be the loving mother, so he either gets
that's what we're
money
saying.
or invites her into the mansion to live, or like she doesn't seem very concerned to either get to know him or like the baby or Sarah or like she's like, I'm just gonna sit here in the Salem Inn and get drunk with Brady, and if Xander knocks on my door, okay. I mean, I don't know.
Suspicious.
Yeah. She's not working. Yeah. She's not working it very hard if she is.
Holly needs to stop working so much. I am concerned.
I'm actually impressed.
I am concerned. And also, how long does it take to get to Smith Island from Salem? Because you can't, first of all, like, we know what it takes. It takes a whole ferry to get there, right?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me you're gonna show up for 5 minutes and be like, ugh,
yeah,
now
I
gotta
can't
go back
believe
and say bye
that
to
you're-
my mom.
I can't believe that you're now asking this question. The amount of times that something has happened on Smith Island and now you're asking this question of how long it takes.
I know, I feel like it takes a while, but what I'm saying is y'all stop making Holly go to that island for 5 minutes and then have to
turn around.
like let her stay the night, do something, like spend a couple of hours, play a full game of Monopoly, something. Like that girl shows up for 5 minutes to see Tate and be like, I have to go work now. Well, why did you get on the ferry and go over the river and through the woods to grandmama's house you go, only to have to turn back around?
Uh-huh. I keep getting anxiety that she's telling people she's working when she's not, and it's the bistro where everyone can walk by and either see her working or not. That's what's giving me anxiety when she's like, I'm doing the whatever lunch shift right now, and I'm like, you know, your mother can walk out her office and either see
And just
you or
be
not
like-
see you. Yeah.
Well,
Where's my
Mama
dog?
went
Well,
to
not
Europe,
anymore. She
so
in
I
Europe.
guess
I guess not
she got the
anymore.
hook
I guess
there.
she got the hook there. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and if
even when she showed up for the goodbye party, Marlena was like, I thought you had the dinner shift. I was like, wait, everyone knows this girl's schedule? Yeah. Probably because
But
she
also
works
the bistro-
outside and people can see. Like,
The
Mhm.
bistro wasn't even open for lunch because
right.
it was. Oh my God! You know what else? You know what else I just discovered? So whenever they talk about the bistro, right? They're always inside, and I'm
Mhm.
like, great. And then I was always like, what is the outside restaurant that everyone eats at? And then I realized it's the bistro,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
but outside.
Yeah.
I thought it was a completely different restaurant for some reason.
Yeah.
Like I actually thought, I was like, why do they keep calling the bistro? Like, isn't this Chez Rouge? Like what happened to Chez Rouge? Like, I was like, is it above it?
Yeah.
we're still asking what happened to Chez
I
Rouge.
know, right?
I think for like, and it was this week that I was like, oh, the outside
Yeah.
is part of the bistro.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody please, you know what I would like to have? Tom Early, if you're watching, can you send me the plans for the
Oh my God, it's
businesses?
funny.
And just so I can have a layout.
Bistro's outside.
Bistro's outside. See, no one else knew. No one else knew that outside area that people eat at is
Yeah.
connected to the bistro.
But then
I feel like it was maybe when Tripp worked there, I felt like it may have been like sort of talked about or explained that that's the outside. But yeah, whenever lately it's been the inside of the bistro when they talk. But yeah, I think it's supposed to be both the inside outside. Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone just asked what happened to Julie's place.
She supposedly still has it. It just hasn't been shown, as far as we know. We haven't.
So it's
heard
just sitting there
otherwise.
collecting dust.
Yeah.
James Law Jr., what happened to Wings? It's just things.
No.
We have no more wings.
Wings from the 80s.
Oh, is he talking about those wings?
Yeah, there was a club called. Oh, is that what you? I thought you were being funny, Tony.
No,
Yeah,
y'all
there
know
was
y'all know I have a night
Yeah.
that used to be called Wings and Things, but now it's called Just Things. So when he was like, "What happened to the wings?" I thought he was referring to that. So I was like, "It's just things."
I thought you knew that, but you were like making a joke about it. No. Yeah, there was a club called Wings back in the day on days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a club. I remember Club TBD. Everybody's asking now about all these businesses. They're like, well, the cheating heart.
The
I
cheating
know.
heart. Remember, yeah. That was
Oh,
the
man.
James R. Jr. was talking about the 80s. You were right,
Oh
Justin.
my God.
My bad. Well, see, this is
You
the
could have
thing
played
about-
that right off, Tony, and no one would have
No.
known.
The thing is that when you have a friend as old as James, right? Like you don't get all the references sometimes. So like I wasn't watching Days in the 80s, so I didn't know they had a place called Wings.
Yeah.
Like James has to realize that, like, you know, when he's talking about his generational things, he has to be very specific to his young people, his young audience,
Well,
and young friends.
well, now you have your material for
that's
introducing JLJ Media next week.
True. James R. Jr. is the only person that remembers when Wings was an establishment on Days of Our Lives.
Oh, too funny.
And had nothing to do with things.
It had nothing to do with things.
See, I thought you were saying like it's just things like playing on your night, but also playing like oh that
Was
went
just
bye
talking
bye.
Yeah. Debbie Bright says, "Old is good. 80s Days was awesome in Salem." Listen, I know I'm with you when you're right. I am with you when you're right. Oh, thank you, Me World. R.I.P. the Cheating Heart Club TBD.
Oh, yeah.
Wings,
Oh,
Dutch Place,
no.
Julie's Place, Sweet Sweets, Java Cafe.
Three Bits is back.
Two Bits is back. Everybody needed those donuts and the failed wedding cake. Leo at least got to enjoy the cake.
Side note, I think my mom is convinced that we're all drunk.
When we go off.
She just asks, "What's in my cup? Water." This is just me at a natural pace.
I'm not drunk. I'm just hungover.
Same difference. I mean, not same as in I'm not hungover. The most I'll ever have is a food coma. Which Panda Express sounds good.
Why are you making me hungry?
I don't know. Anyway, all right. So that's it for.
Yeah, we had Xander might be onto her. I think he saw the bottles.
Oh.
I think that's the intention. I think they're
I
trying.
think that's a misdirect.
And maybe.
I was when he said, "What is that?" I thought it was two things. One of two things. It's either Brady's underwear or a bottle of.
Oh, I feel like that might be the misdirect. We might think it's alcohol, but it might be Brady's. Maybe he left a sock or who knows with him. Yeah, underwear.
Can you imagine if he left the sock? He's like, "Whose sock is this?"
It's a man's
Well,
sock.
it's your sock. I have on both of my socks, Mom. Whose sock is this? Yeah, is that how he sounds?
No.
What's going on?
No.
That's not it?
No.
The beginning part was fine, and it's a trail. You were getting very Oliver Twist. Like,
Wait.
No.
Okay.
No. No.
I do believe that my mother. Wait, I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, I can hear Paul Telfer in my head, and now I'm trying to mimic it.
Oh God! Oh,
A sock, Mom. Whose sock is that? I think that's right. I think Paul Telfer, if you're watching this, you let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. How close am I? Wait.
I feel you have the cadence, but the accent isn't right. You know, I feel like it sounds like Paul in terms of the cadence, but the accent is some other European country. Not.
Mom, whose sock is this on the floor?
I can't.
I tried to keep it in.
Oh God!
It most certainly isn't mine.
Now, Dylan, can you isolate that clip because we need Paul to comment on it as he will. Oh yeah, okay.
I feel like I got it.
Paul Telfer, let us know. We know you're very active.
Somebody send this clip to Paul Telfer, and he will.
Hang on, Mom, whose sock is this?
Okay, so from the second hour in on the dot to about 2 or 3 minutes in, we can tell Paul to watch that part.
Tony, even Mama Moore says it's time to stop.
Shonda said, in the beginning, Tony, it is, but the rest was another accent. I swear I did. Okay, whatever. I feel like I nailed it. I'm just saying.
I'm glad you feel that way.
So someone said you sound British. Do I?
I'm glad you feel that way.
I thought it was pretty Scottish. No.
Nodding.
What were we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yes, Fiona.
Fiona
yes.
and Xander, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what he saw. So okay, so can we put that to a vote? We think what? It's either something that belongs to Brady or alcohol, right?
Yeah, I think we think it's supposed to be alcohol, but I think the misdirect is going to be it's maybe something Brady left behind.
Okay, let me make a note of this. I'll make this a poll. But I have to write it down because I realized that there was 1 week where I was like, I'll make this a poll. It did not happen at all. So okay, here's that and that, and then let me pull this up, and then what did Xander see? Something of Brady's or an empty bottle of alcohol? Okay, there we go. All right. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Please.
All right. Before we get into our tidbits, y'all, just a quick reminder: make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live, go ahead and click subscribe. If you're watching us later and you haven't clicked, make sure you do that. And listen, share this link with all of your Days fans and friends. If you're a part of any groups or anything like that, tell them, hey, y'all, every Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come chat about Days. We always want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Also, make sure you show some love to my former oh, no, wait. Before I do that, find us on your favorite podcast station, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And now, if you want to show some love to our former co-host, James Lott Jr., and my chocolate twin, the guy who is just as old as Doug's Place. Make sure you go to JLJ Media on YouTube. And don't forget, keep sharing your thoughts. And make sure if you're watching us later that you comment below. All right. Keeping things moving right along into our tidbits. Charlemagne is cast.
We should have seen this coming.
I still think this would be the perfect Beyond Salem Chapter 3.
Yeah.
The filming of Body and Soul. And all the stunt shows and shenanigans that happen behind it.
Yeah.
I think also what would be fun is if they get people under the Peacock umbrella to play extras, to play main characters, all of that. And even if it was a new cast, you know, we have, even if Deidre Hall as Hattie is playing Charlemagne, but you know everyone else is recast, like I think it would be the most hilarious thing ever to see this little production come together. And then again, they can keep it as a staple throughout the show. And I love the idea of talking to Johnny about directing it.
Makes sense.
Like that makes sense. It keeps him in Salem. I mean, listen, Body and Soul production offices filming in Salem is so far-fetched, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Going to Kayla and Marlena and being
God.
That was
would you like
ridiculous.
to be a star? I was like,
Abe, what are you doing?
That's like me asking Araceli if she wants a part on Days of Our Lives.
I was like, Abe, come on. Are we really pushing this? Like,
I literally thought that there was going to be a scene where those actresses who played those characters actually came to say like, we're not doing this, or like we will do this, or you know, or something.
That's what I thought it was when we saw it in the preview. I was like, oh, this is supposed to be the actress who plays Charlemagne. Not, I didn't even think Hattie for. It didn't even occur to me to think Hattie.
Although it should have. You're right. We should have seen.
Yeah, we should have seen it. Yeah, right. But no, I like the way they did that. And again, we all know Deidre loves playing Hattie, and she gets to sort of step out around. So I like the fact that she got to play Hattie, but also put the acting on it, so to speak, and kind of show a different side. So I like that.
Yeah. I don't know,
And that's about it.
I think it'll be fun. I mean, it's interesting. It is way left.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about something that
and we got a few wink winks. The strike they mentioned.
Yes.
What else? There was another one they mentioned, and I was like, oh, okay, God, what was it? If anyone remembers, it was a strike, and then it was something else. Yeah.
I think they mentioned this. I think they just mentioned the strike.
Was it just that? Okay.
I think so.
Oh, it was something else.
But there was definitely some correlation. I'll tell you, Kate was just kind of like,
yeah,
I guess. But it's also very low budget.
Yeah, right. I know.
You got to do your own hair and makeup.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I did also like the little callback, because sometimes people forget the callback to when we first met Hattie. It was when she was waiting tables with Kate back in the day in the 90s when Kate lost everything. I like that little yeah, this is where we met you. This is how we know each other. Yeah.
Can you imagine though if they did do like behind the scenes of Body and Soul, like they literally would just use the studio, like to see them in like the makeup and hair like chair or like in their dressing room, like downstairs, like it.
See, that would be that would be an interesting way to do like the Beyond Salem thing, and do it like kind of like the Office style, where it's someone interview them and you're just seeing these different. You may not see them perform necessarily, but you're seeing them sort of backstage and putting the show together, and it could be interesting. And make it like funny, like a comedy, so it's different from Days and tone. Could be kind of fun to do.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, we're rolling with this storyline.
We're going with it.
Yeah.
Now it's time for Designing Demira.
That's the theme song.
Where to start?
With Connie now finding out that Ava and
oh my god,
Stefan, at this point, just be like, look, ho, you were going in jail. Like, we were pretending to date each other. Like, we both got drunk. It happened. My bad. Move on.
And see, that would be my normal reaction if it was anyone but Gabby.
This is interesting, yeah, because this could go into a whole different storyline of Gabby plotting revenge against these two. This could be a Gabby Connie team up. This could be a weird, there's so many ways to go with this. And they have Gabby sort of itching. And we said this before when Sheree first came on and Gabby was let out of prison. We're like, does she know something, or does she maybe think something happened? There's always been her scratching at something here, and she sort of laid it on thick this week of, now I want to hear details.
Do you think she already knows? Or has an inkling?
I feel like maybe she thinks something happened, like it's possible, and maybe she's just kind of doing research to see if it is. I don't know if she fully knows.
I think she thought something happened, which is why she really went out of her way to ask straight up. But I think that for now, maybe Stefan assuaged her fears.
He did what?
He assuaged her fears. I think he got through to her and really made her believe that everything that he said happened was all that happened. Though I do think that she had her suspicions. She's not stupid.
She should assuage back and know that something more happened.
So now Connie has that in her back pocket, and now we know she definitively wants to go after Gabby and Stefan. They're like targets now of hers.
And I guess Melinda.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, maybe at one point she did say Melinda too. So yeah.
But none of them give like a weird vibe from her. Like no one. Like Kristen, Ava, Gabby. Stefan was kind of like.
They all think she's weird. That's the point. They all think she's weird, so but there's weird. I mean, there's weird, and then there's psycho killer.
Yeah.
She's both.
We know she's both. But we also, it's like, psycho killer is not the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh my God. I sounded like, do you guys remember The Bodyguard? With Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
And he was like, no. Like, I feel like I was like that guy.
But yeah, both Ava and especially Kristen are not here for Connie for being part of Demira in the Demira workspace. They are
No. Side note, I think someone was saying that like people on social media are hating on Connie or Julie Dove. Um, I wish fans were. It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
yeah.
So you just have to
I see
be
it.
like you cannot you can dislike the direction like the show is going in as we've clearly stated, but like don't go to the actor and be like rah, 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 rah. Like Julie Dove overall is doing an amazing job as
Yeah.
Connie. Like she's crazy and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and she's in her own world. She is like her and Whitley King would get along great.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I would probably, well, for the funny of it, I'll put Calliope in there
Yeah.
because I know that she was a kooky character, and you might as well throw Vivian in there too.
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah. Also, want to say something to that. I think there's a little bit of a wrong narrative going around about Julie Dove and who she is and what she does. But just to clear up, Julie Dove is an actual actress.
Yes.
Whatever her relationship to the show is, or her relationship to Ron writing a character for her, she is an actual actress. She's been in LA. She's been on other projects. She does voiceover work as well. You can go and look up her credits and her name. She is an actual actress. She's not a housewife.
Check out our interview with her.
Yes, she's not. There's this narrative she either like got handpicked because she was a super fan, or like got like I think people
Or
think
she won a contest.
Yeah, she won a contest to be
All
on
for
the
the
show.
love
Like,
of God, people.
yeah, none of that is true, or like the story so far misconstrued. She isn't. Julie Dove is an actual actress. She's been an actress. That's why she is acting on the show. Trust me, they're not
Susan.
kidding.
Susan too.
Susan, yeah, totally,
yeah, guys, we know her. We met her. We've been around her, and she's been like bouncing to different projects at once. Okay, so please spread the word to chill out.
Yes. Well, and that also brings me to this. And I don't know if I even told you guys. I met Sherry.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Cool.
Shout out to Sherry.
Yes.
Just an amazing, beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
She was so nice and so kind. And, for me, I love the fact that she auditioned for Gabby 15 years ago and didn't get it. And now she does.
Yeah.
And, even how the fans were coming for her before she even aired. And it's like,
Lord have mercy.
You guys have to give her credit too, that she really studied the character of Gabby, and she has laid down the foundation of Gabby. There are so many Gabby-isms that she gets.
Yeah.
That and it's very, you can see that, and she's not copying what Camila did. She's actually respecting and appreciating the foundation and the work that Camila did for Gabby. So, but now she has to utilize her talents to carry on Gabby in this reiteration.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
As we said before, I think they also set her up nicely, where she's in this weird transition period, and she's coming back after us not seeing her for a while. So the stuff that Sherry brings to it, there's sort of a calmness there, and we understand that calmness from what we've seen Gabby go through the last 6 months to a year. So it sort of makes sense. And I like the way that they set her up. Sometimes we don't always get that privilege to do that with the recast. But yeah, as you say, like people just give people a chance and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like the way people sing Dan Fiergo's praises now is EJ and how much they love him.
Oh, because y'all couldn't stand him before.
Where's
James Scott? He ain't gonna be my EJ.
Yeah, it's about. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, Justin. It really is about the setup, because we had a good. I want to say it was on for. I want to say Dan was on for maybe 2 months or so, until they really gave him that meat of the storyline of finding out that Sammy had cheated on him. So it was a build up to that moment, and I feel like we're gonna get that with Gabby and Stefan as well, and that's why she's not discovering this just yet. So it's the buildup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I get it. I will always tell the story about how I kind of side-eye Stacey Hydu. Shout out to Stacey. When she came on as Kristen, I wasn't like, she ain't my Kristen. I like Eileen Davidson. She ain't my Kristen. Who is the? I wasn't all like that.
Yeah.
But I did have a moment of, who's she?
And you also didn't go online tagging Stacey
Oh,
and
No.
writing. Like, let's chill out with that. Like,
Yeah, I didn't go and find Stacey Hydu and be like, "Who are you, man?" Thinking that you can come and replace Eileen Davidson as Kristen. But let me tell you, I gave her a chance. And when that door opened and she was Susan, and she was like, "It's mine," whatever she said, I was like,
Yep.
I just shut my mouth up. And now we're friends and we dance all the time.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh gosh, John Del Rey listed all the replacements. Billy Flynn as Chad,
Oh yeah. Yep.
Marcy Miller as Abigail.
Oh, that was a big one.
And then Sherry and Dan and Stacey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As we tell you guys, some of your favorite actors are recast. You may not remember them as being recast, but they are. Very few people on the show have played said character the whole time. There's probably, outside of the people they've introduced in the last, say, 6 years, like, there's only a handful of people on the cast that have originated their roles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the actors at Days who put in the work to make this show happen. No matter what you're given, you turn it into gold with your talents, and we appreciate it. That's why we on here talking about this every Sunday. And whether you tune in to watch it or not, we still gonna talk about you.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, Eric Martov is
That's
recasting.
Yep.
John said Camila Bannis was a recast.
Yeah.
This is true.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh yeah, Martha was so glad for Martha. Jesus.
No, you did, Tony. Now here you go. Leave that girl alone.
Now listen. Now that would be the one time. That would be the one time that I say, thank God for Martha Madison, because I don't know. I will not speak her name.
Yes,
I don't want to be rude in that. And it sometimes things are not for people, but she will live in my head forever.
And chat, be nice too. Don't name, some of you know who we're referring to, and let's be nice to that.
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, we're just gonna say thank God for Martha Madison.
Yes, because I still remember the scene where she said something and she was just like, and I said, "Whoo, child!" And I was in middle school, I think middle school or high school when this happened, and I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, "Ooh, child, that ain't gonna work. I know that ain't gonna work. It ain't, and can't nobody tell me different."
Ooh. Yeah.
Like I'm sure she is lovely.
Ooh.
I don't think she lasted for a month. I think she lasted for like
it was
a week.
less than a month, I think. Yeah.
And she was out of there. Lord have mercy.
Ooh. Yeah.
Praise be.
That was a rough few scenes. Yeah. But we made through it and we got Martha. Tony, not the stairway.
And I remember she had a Tinkerbell haircut too. Not her fault. You remember that, Araceli, don't you?
Yeah, no, it didn't. I try to forget. It didn't help.
Y'all lucky Michael Mattis is here, because he would have totally let that out of the bag. He would have read it. He would not have been as nice as
you know what? I love when I go on these tangents. Someone then goes, and Paulina lost her shoes.
Did we ever have a meme of that or anything, or did we use it as a
I
gift
think
that week? Did we ever immortalize that in any way?
I
needs to
had
be-
I had a
Or
no.
did Tony? Did you do it as
because
your?
we had a gif of her that week. I
Okay.
remember, but the shoes part of it was so not noticeable. Tony was the only one who actually really zoned in on it and like zoomed in on it, and the rest of us were like, "Wait, what?" The rest of us had to go back and look at it.
I can't believe y'all did not realize. I was like, y'all scared this lady up out her shoes. Jesus.
Oh God.
Oh God. You see, this is why we shouldn't talk about stuff. Because they were
I know. I saw
the pixie haircut. Yep. She had a pixie cut, and then they stuck a weave in her head to make her look more like Martha before the recap. Goodness gracious. Oh my God, this show. Okay, you know what? We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Now watch. I feel like somebody's gonna post. They're gonna post two things for us. They're gonna post her time on the show.
Oh, please.
And then they're gonna post the clip of when Paulina was out her shoes.
Be nice, people. Though, yeah. Those of you who know who we're referring to, be nice.
Can we move on now?
Okay. Let's go.
But wait, before Shonda said, I think Tony went on a tangent about 45 minutes for those shoes, and still is. I think I actually asked Jack K, what happened to your shoes?
Oh my God.
All right, now we arrive in
that's
Poplar
funny.
Bluff,
Yes.
everybody.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yes, we're getting movement from this. We finally cleared up the video, so it's no longer a static CCTV video. It's now cleared up, and you can clearly. Oh God! Talk about moving something along. I'm like, oh Jesus, we're still looking at this video 4 weeks later, and nothing's been done.
You would think that if you wanted to know, it would have happened in the same week.
Oh, really? We've been promoting Anna Lynn for a year and a half, and she's gonna be.
And she still hasn't. She still has not been on the screen. Where is she? Where is she?
I'm laughing at the fact that they shot her doing that scene. It could have been anybody. They could have picked what's the name from Craft Service. Mary from Craft Services could have shot that scene, and no one would have been the watcher.
It could have been Araceli in a blonde wig.
With a wig, exactly.
I really.
Tony, you could have
picture me
jumped
as
in
a blonde.
there and said, "Okay, I'll play baby fake Abigail." Put a wig on you, would have covered the back of your head.
And I would have provided the wig. I have a blonde wig.
Get your check, because you've been getting paid for 2 months worth of work, and you did one scene where you walked in and out of camera. So
and here's the thing, y'all remember back in June when they were like, "Welcome to Salem," Anna Lynn McCoy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome to Salem, and then what did we get?
Oh my God.
I was like,
oh God.
Okay.
See you in
Oh my
August.
gosh. So much in the comments today.
what's happening in the comments?
Oh my God. So first of all, Amaya, a great throwback to the AMC days.
No.
To all my children pulling this stunt. Yes, they did. They pulled this stunt in 2006, and I didn't find it funny then.
Oh.
And then Karen McBride. Oh, Karen McBride apparently lives near Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and takes issue with the geography, the layout of the geography that they're working with.
Well, Karen McBride, do you know the sign that they're talking about that they saw that in the video? Does that billboard exist? Can you imagine if that billboard did exist and Karen McBride was like, yeah, there's a billboard of this, and then she sent us the billboard.
Yes. And apparently after we get off the show, Tony Moore needs to call his mama.
Mom, I'm fine. I'm just wondering what happened to that lady's shoes.
I promise you, Mama Mort, Tony is fine.
I just get hyped up
Yes,
when we're talking about certain things.
Not Joyce.
Could have brought the
Joyce. Oh God, that one wins. Yeah.
Joyce, you win. Joyce, yes. You win for that one. You win for that one. But goodness, great! I thought my mom said, "Pick up your phone." I literally looked down at my phone to see if she was calling. Because if she did, I was about to put her on speaker.
Oh my God!
Now watch she call.
Oh, too funny. Yes.
But Cameron, right? You know there is no roller skate rink around Poplar Bluff. Okay. Oh.
She's calling you.
Mother.
Tony.
I just want to let you know that I have you on speakerphone.
Yes.
We're still live, and I have you on the mic.
Okay, I need to know what you have. All of y'all. Give me some.
Mom, there is only water in my cup. Justin probably has some smoothie concoction. Araceli is the only one that might be suspected of some sort of alcoholic beverage, but I don't think she does because she drank it all last night.
I did drink it all last night.
That's the problem right now.
Araceli? Yes, ma'am.
I can't. And then you can hear her watching as I'm talking. She didn't even mute. She didn't put it on mute. She's just okay.
I'm fine, ma'am.
Okay, y'all go ahead.
Okay.
I just need to check in. I had to check in.
Okay, I can go back to doing the show now.
You can go back to doing the show. I'm gonna sit here and be quiet.
No, don't do that. Yeah.
Love you more.
Bye.
Bye, Mama Moore.
I knew it. I knew she was gonna call. I knew it. I know my mom all too well.
Oh my God, too funny. Too funny.
I am so sober right now, and I'm so scared of your mom.
Don't be scared.
And yeah, and I was like totally wasting in front of my own mother yesterday, and she could care less.
Well, listen, this is how we make something out of literally not much that we got for the week. This is how we.
Mind you, because I'm gonna tell my mom too. She's probably gonna text me about this too. And I've said this before. My mom has a whole cabinet in our trunk with alcohol in it that she doesn't drink.
Never use, yeah.
Didn't she tell you last week not to tell her business?
She did. And I've already told that, so I'm gonna say it again. My mom and I are very similar. Neither one of us drink that much, if at all, really. So, hi, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you for
checking. Listen,
we appreciate the check-in.
We've now given this storyline more coverage than they have on the shows.
Oh, you're talking about the is she Abigail or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like at this point, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Let's get to the only interesting part of this storyline this week, in my opinion, which was the conversation between Chad and Leo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was the only interesting part of that story.
Mm-hmm.
It was poignant. It was honest. It was bordering on schmaltzy, but didn't quite go over the line into them being besties.
Mm-hmm.
But it does feel like that growth of them as coworkers turned into confidants actually has been earned.
Yeah, I agree.
There are some people who will say, well, why is everybody friends with Leo now? And I think if he hadn't been dumped, first of all, if he hadn't been dumped by the love of his life and been willing to show that vulnerability, and if he wasn't in therapy, then I would agree and say that it's not earned. but because Leo has actually done the work to put himself through some difficult questioning of his own integrity and his life choices, then I do think that friendship is earned.
Yeah. And they've been building that for a while, ever since Leo came to the paper and started working there. I think they've been building a softening of him, and like we mentioned earlier, the stuff concerned for Stephanie. So I think we said this before, like branching out his character and not just making him, good for a good quip or a good, saying or whatever. Like make him a full-fledged character. Like he needs to start developing. We don't have Gwen anymore as far as we know. So he needs someone to talk to or bounce off of, and it can't always just be in conflict with people or everyone think of him as an idiot. Like we need to build some solid actual friendships.
Yeah. And I'll say this, I totally agree with Leo last week that if you're a guest at a wedding, you would expect wedding cake. Even if the wedding does not go through, well, then who's going to eat the cake? It's not the cake's fault that the wedding didn't happen.
The cake and the food.
It's not the baker's fault that the wedding didn't happen. Somebody's got to eat the cake.
Oh, look who's getting all testy about cake. Just like I got testy about the shoes.
Well, but it's wasteful. It's just wasteful.
Somebody ate that cake.
Somebody needs to eat the cake. It's not offensive. It's good for the planet.
Can they please hurry up and just tell us who Annalyn McCord is supposed to be on this
Please,
show?
Hopefully we'll get that because they broke down the door, right? Is that and then
they broke down the door, gas, and then it went. Boom, doom, doom, doom.
I love when they always do that. I feel like sometimes they never tell if it's more than one actor. They sometimes don't have them look at the same thing. So like Chad's looking at something and you can tell Jack is looking at something else or it's like, okay, can we just put a ball there for them to focus on so we see it?
Or I don't know, maybe she should be standing there.
Right. Yeah.
Someone was saying that maybe she's a doppelganger until the real Abigail shows up. And I'm like, to be a doppelganger, you have to look like her.
No,
A doppelganger.
What did I say?
You said doppelganger.
Same thing. Doppelganger, doppelganger.
Oh my gosh.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo. But then has she been? Never mind. Okay. Let's move on. Speaking of mysteries, where is John?
That's a good question.
Now Steve went all the way to Greece, could not contact John. You didn't think to walk around, ask questions?
No.
You found this note with his blood on it. You back in Salem to do what?
He explained that.
To say in person that something's
was
going on with John?
He said that he had done a lot of the legwork when he was there, that as soon as he found out that John didn't come back to the room, that he had been gone for a while, he started making calls to local authorities, and then he went to the ISA. And so he explained that. He said that as soon as he realized there was a problem, he started calling for reinforcements. But then right now that they're kind of in a waiting game, so that's why he went home to tell Marlena.
Laura Smith has solved the mystery. He is all tied somewhere.
I mean, we know that.
Right. Quick little shout out to 195 people watching.
Ooh,
us.
yeah.
180 something on YouTube and a few people on our Facebook. Thank you guys so much. Really
Thank you
appreciate it.
guys.
Keep sharing this because we're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right.
Yeah, it was getting ominous whenever anyone asked if they heard from John. They're like, "No, I haven't heard from him." Or even Marlena, which she's like, "Yeah, we haven't talked much." I was like, "Oh, really? Okay, that didn't raise suspicion."
It's like you done been through this before. Y'all don't have some sort of code that like if I don't text you or call you or do something like in X amount of days, like send someone out.
Assume I've been kidnapped. Assume I'm being held on a ship or in a basement or something.
I mean, everyone at this point should have that kind of a code with somebody. But if you're an ex-secret agent, I would say it's imperative. It's a part of your lifestyle.
She needs a tracker on John, like those pet trackers. they
One of those
put behind the ear.
one of those air taggers.
Yeah. A human ear
Location,
tag.
like a location pin.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right. Well, while we solve that mystery, that has been your week of days. And now we are on to our segments, and we're going to start with my segment, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap!
Do y'all hear the oh snap?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, why don't I?
Oh, that's weird.
Heard it 3 times.
It didn't come through my earlobes.
Oh
Yeah,
snap!
thank you for
Okay,
now.
well, as long as it came through.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, wait. All right. My 3 Snaps Award goes to 3 very dynamic actors who I felt like slayed the scene. Now, even though we didn't want this to happen, it happened, but they did an amazing job. Abigail Klein, Blake Bears, and Elia Cantu. Y'all killed it. Y'all slayed it. Y'all took us through the emotions. While we were sitting there wondering, why is this man dead? Y'all still gave all the emotions that you were supposed to. So with that, you get Tony's official. There's a snap for Abigail, there's a snap for Blake, and there's a snap for Elia Cantu.
Yes,
3 snaps award to y'all, because
Yeah.
y'all killed it.
they did.
Mhm.
Oh snap!
Wait, maybe it's what is happening? I hate that. No, okay, well that's there. I don't know why it's like that. And now it's time. Well, we don't have captioned that again because Michael Mattis is on hiatus. Let that man be on hiatus, y'all.
Mhm.
He is on hiatus. So now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right, taking you back to August 2nd, 1995. And
Those were the days.
this is where Gina Horton found out. Actually, it was revealed that Gina Horton was, in fact, Hope Brady. Again, not Princess Gina. This is the character Christian played when she came back to Salem. This is the character that was on Maison Blanche with Celeste. And this was one of my favorite storylines just overall because it wasn't about having a bad guy. It was I think one of the best Days did was showing a triangle between, at that time, Gina / Hope. Then we had Bo, and then in the
we have both.
we had Lisa Rinna as Billy. And again, if you remember, Gina and Billy actually became friends during this time. This is when Gina was sort of getting acclimated to Salem, and there was a lot of questions of, is this woman Hope? Is she not Hope? She was sort of adopted by the Horton.
Does she have hope?
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of my favorite storylines. Will go down, I just think, in history as a way to do a triangle in a different way where someone isn't the bad guy. And each section had we had the Bo and Hope fans. We also had like the Bo and Billy fans who were like, she's getting screwed here. What's going on? But yeah, all back to August 2nd, 1995, when Gina Horton was revealed to be Hope Brady.
And
Those were the days.
and now it's time for It's a Gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to Miss Deidre Hall, not as Marlena Evans, but as Miss Hattie playing something.
Now that's acting.
Yeah.
That's acting.
Ha! Ha! I'm acting.
I can't hold a candle to her.
It's a gift. Maybe Araceli's acting should be It's a gift. All right. And now it is time for news and gossip.
Yes, starting off, we have a little behind the scenes from a couple of our favorite stars. Starting off with Greg Vaughn. He sort of, as we talked about earlier, with the character of Eric leaving and choices and things of that sort. What happened was Soap Opera Digest does a section on their site and social media, basically coming and goings, and they sort of highlight people who are leaving shows and coming to shows and so forth. And they highlight the fact that Greg Vaughn is leaving the show. And then Greg Vaughn chimed in, letting us know his exact feelings on leaving the show, saying, I quote, of course, here, I didn't leave by choice. I never had a choice, and a broken heart emoji. So, yeah, this sort of adds just to the overall discussion about sort of putting couples together in behind the scenes things that happen, that there are a lot of times more there are casualties to that. And it seems like Greg Vaughn found himself to be one, unfortunately. And yeah, he wanted to let us know he did not leave by choice. And he wanted to make that very, very clear.
For 24 hours.
Yes. So, like we said, there are some new writers on the scene. We have no idea what's coming up or what will happen in the future, but we hope to see Greg back. And it seems like, yeah, like I said, he did not want to leave. Wasn't his choice, but you know, that's.
Will we ever see Sloan?
There we go.
That lady left and ain't been back since.
Oh god!
Like, you didn't want to leave a note with an explanation or a text or something. You literally just packed up a bag and was like, "I am out."
Yep.
You didn't have your brother come get you or nothing.
Not your brother come get you.
Their brother's in prison.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Left him in the Salem police.
My god!
Left. I ain't never seen a character leave like that. Just left. And ain't no explanation. Like, you didn't even come back to explain yourself at all. That as soon as that lady saw that fire, she was out.
Oh my god, too funny. So yeah, like I said, you never know what's happening in the future. We wish Greg luck and hope to see him soon. And you know, with any luck, we will. In addition to that, we have Abigail Klein giving us a little behind the scenes, saying that sort of saying goodbye to this storyline as it wrapped up with Barbarette dying, and
that cake was good.
Saying that, I know, right? This was one of her favorite storylines that she got to do, and she loved working with Blake. And I don't know, it makes it sort of bittersweet that it sort of ended this way. I feel like we said and we talked about, there was so much more story here, but yeah, it didn't come to fruition. So we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised 2 years now we see Blake back as someone else. Like we get like they can't. I feel like they do this with him. They want a shock value, or they want to end it in a way, and then they regret it, and then we get him back in, like, you know, we had him back as Dead Nick for years, and now we had him like as Everett Bobby / Barbarette. So
let him come back as a voiceover explaining
not a voiceover
his storyline. Like, let them, like, as they're cleaning up his room at the Salem Inn, let them find a book or something where he's like, "Hello everyone, this is Everett. This is what I went through."
Not a voiceover.
And then a couple pages later, "This is Bobby. Let me explain my side." Voiceover.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, bittersweet. But yeah, one of her favorite storylines. She got to work with Blake. She loved it, and yeah, we'll see how things progress.
Okay. All right. Moving on to great casting news. Our very own Emily O'Brien, who some of you may know is actually a very talented and very in-demand voice actress as well when she's not on Days. She is going to be voicing Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
The Wonder Woman in a new interactive series called DC Heroes United. Emily actually couldn't be on our show last week because she was at Comic-Con, of all places. She was promoting her project called Starfield. And that's when she also dropped the bomb that she's going to be playing Wonder Woman. And this series is kind of going to be part video game, part streaming series, because it'll be interactive in the sense that the idea is to allow the audience to determine the fate of key characters. And based on their decisions, the storyline will play out from there. So DC Heroes United will be shooting soon and will premiere a later date on the DC app.
Nice. Next up, we have one of our favorites, Miss Elaine Cantu, had a very interesting encounter this past week. She attended the Bel Air cookout, which was a promotion for their third season, which is streaming soon. This is a picture of her, as you see, with Will Smith. I urge you to go to her Instagram at Elaine Cantu. Right before this picture take, you sort of see the lead up to this. It's her posing, and Will sort of seeing her not from afar, but sort of taking notice of her and them sort of connecting, and there we have this picture as a result of it. So go check it out.
Will and Jada.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Will and Jada. Yeah, but really cute. Yeah,
Not
so
different Jada.
Eli's, yeah, cute.
All right. Next up in online shenanigans, we have the Days cast sitting down again, part of their kind of contribution to the Olympics, which are going on right now on Peacock. Several stars of Days sat down to share who they would want to share a spot with in a relay race and who they would want on their team. And Mr. Dan Fierogel said he would want Rob Scott Wilson, Billy Flynn, and Galen Gehring for different reasons. You can check that out on the Days socials. Also, belated happy birthdays to Mr. Wally Kurth and Miss Nadia Bjorlin. Happy birthday to you. And last week we mentioned that Ari Zucker posted a pic and a beautiful video montage about her 26 years since joining Days to cap off her final day official air date on Days of Our Lives. She celebrated her new beginning, as she's calling it, by giving fans a glimpse of her pre-wedding shoot to her fiance, Sean Christian. So go to her socials at Ari8675 to see her video of that. And again, we don't know when the wedding is. I can only guess it's coming very soon.
Yeah. Cool. And last but not least, we have some reminders for you, starting off with Day of Days. Again, it is November 2nd this year. It is live at the Peacock Theater, hosted by our very own Mr. Tony Moore. Mr. Tony Moore. A huge fan event. We can't stress this enough. This is the one to come to for all the fan events that miss you or pass you by that you can't get to. This is one to invest in. Again, there are always... it becomes a sort of Days of Our Lives weekend in terms of fan event. This one on the Saturday. There are some Friday, and later we will talk to you about. But yeah, this is the one to come to. This is the most concentrated place that you will see most of the Days actors and have an opportunity to interact with them. Also a bunch of other Days fans, and it's just a really, really fun day. So come check that out.
You don't have to reserve a ticket.
Yep.
You just show up.
Free event.
You just come up. It's a free event. Like, I've gotten tagged. Where do I get tickets? You don't. You just show up to the event. Just show up and show up early. And if you need to know all things about Day of Days, Michael Mattis has put together a wonderful guide, beautiful gowns, wonderful guide to kind of give you insight onto what Day of Days is like. So check that out. The link is on our social media platform. So check that out.
Yep. Moving on, we have some Star Image Entertainment Zoom events coming up. First one is Galen Gehring and Eric Martzoff. They are doing a Passions and Days event Q&A because, of course, if you remember, both of them starred on Passions before they sort of migrated over to Days. So it'll be an interesting one. Galen as Luis Lopez Fitzgerald, I believe, and Eric as Ethan Crane. Yeah, so so that'll be a fun one to have two actors who are on one soap and we're on another soap, and yeah, that'll be a fun one to participate in. So that one is Tuesday, August 6th. Next up, we have Eric Martzoff is very popular. He's now doing another one with Remington Hoffman and him, again, Q&A Zoom on Wednesday, August 21st. That'll be a fun one too, both good-natured guys. And then, of course, we have our Hot Men of Days Nashville event happening the weekend of September 28th to 29th. And again, with an acoustic concert with Carson Boatman and Scott Reeves that following Sunday morning. And all tickets to the Nashville event, as well as the Q&A Zooms, you can find on eventbrite.ca/Star Image Entertainment. And speaking of Mr. Carson Boatman, he is also doing his own Zoom with his lovely on-screen wife, Raven Bowens, scheduled for Sunday, September 22nd. That one is by Coastal Entertainment. So Coastal tickets and information, go to coastalentertainment.com/events. And still speaking of Mr. Carson Boatman, again, he's part of the Day Players Band. They are still on their nationwide tour that just keeps going and going and going. But as of now, we have an end date that just happens to coincide with the night of Day of Days. Again, Saturday, November 2nd, the Day Players Band will be doing a live show at the Bourbon Room. This is, again, one of those events where if you come for Day of Days and you have the time, please check out the Day Players Band. They put on a really fun show. And coming off of Day of Days, I will sure they like to include a lot of anecdotes and stories, and I'm sure they will have some of the day that we all experience. So yeah, check them out. Tickets and information, you can go to thedayplayersband.com. Then speaking of other events that weekend, we have a Ladies of Hollywood event. This one is exclusive cocktail and dinner party happening the Friday night before, November 1st, 5:30 to 9:30. And this one, of course, is with lovely Stacey Hyduke, Ilya Cantu, Nadia Bjorlin, Emily O'Brien, and Patrika Darbo. For tickets and information, you can email Lori Beth at lorimatrix@yahoo.com. Then, of course, we have our Samantha and Friends events. We have the Golden Age of Hollywood happening this year, the weekend of September 14th and 15th. And then, of course, we have our Winter Wonderland event happening next year, May 3rd through 4th, 2025. Tickets and info, go to samanthafriends.org. And last but not least, we have our Soaps in the South fan event. This one is a fundraising event for Camp Dream. Again, Camp Dream is an organization for kids with physical and developmental disabilities. And this one we have Patrika Darbo and Greg Vaughn. And it's happening the weekend of October 5th through 6th this year in Alpharetta, Georgia. Tickets and information, you go to campdreamga.org/events.
Word.
Yeah.
And that has been news and gossip. All right, and so many buttons. And now it is time to find out what's coming up this week on Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
All that's left is for you to kill my husband.
Don't take anything at face value.
You could be my daughter. And my wife.
I really think I could be this Abigail person.
There's way more than meets the eye.
Suicide note and a criminal confession.
Everett's dead. Something's not right.
Did you explicitly say that you and I...
I'm going to make them pay for what they did.
Oh, this is gonna be ugly.
Well, finally, next week we see him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I love Remington Hoffman so much.
In that same outfit.
I know.
He gets to play such a not crazy, but more animated version of the character than
I love it.
when he was alive. Nice.
And he gets fed.
Right. Homemade meals with Connie.
Well, as we anticipate the final showing of Annalyn McCoy, we hope that you guys tune in to this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera Days of Our Lives. That has been Dishin Days. But before we head out, Justin Lee Hareld, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
You can find Michael Mattis at ML Mattis on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you say hi. And you can find Little Old Chocolate Me on all social media platforms at Lounge with Tony. And you can find us, Dishin Days Show, on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X, and Threads. I will also like to point out that I didn't freeze today. Yay!
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah. And we're almost 2 hours. Yeah.
We are. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you next week, next Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Until then, have a wonderful, safe week. Enjoy yourself, and make sure you tune in to Days all week long. Bye, everybody.
Bye.